you told me last night that when you spoke with Anna Brees, you weren't aware that she was recording you. Is that right?
Yeah, I just dropped her a call actually to have like kind of a follow-up call because she wanted to interview me on Saturday. I was busy that time, and then she said she'll drop me a line. I missed her calls, and just a follow-up call I dropped, and she picked up phone, and then we had conversation. So in the middle of the conversation, I did realize that this is being recorded that time, to be very honest with you. In the middle of the call, she said that she got a phone call from some other on the other line, so she disappeared for a few seconds and came back that said that she's recording. I was not sure whether she's recording me or somebody else who had called. So I was surprised to see the clip of two minutes on the social media.
Did she ask your permission to record the call?
No, she said she's recording. I said I was not sure whether she's recording me or to the other person who called in between our conversation.
So she didn't she didn't make it clear. Did she ask you permission to post some of it on Twitter?
She said that she will. She said she will not be able to interview me because ABC, whatever, she has the reservation whatsoever. So I said, okay, that's fine. But she can't interview me. She want to have major impact by contacting various other people, which I appreciated the way what she's doing. I had no clue about that. This conversation which I am having is being recorded, and that's what I was a bit puzzled about when I saw the post on the social media.
You were disappointed when you saw the post on social media because you weren't given any...
Yeah, it was not a planned, Richard. To be very honest with you, it was not a planned interview. I just dropped a courtesy call to find out that she rang me a couple of times, which I missed her call, like, we do it. And there, I was not prepared what I need to... And you can see that with my conversation. It doesn't look like that I was in a mood of interview because that your tone always changes when you do a interview with thousands and millions of people, listening to you.
So you thought it was a chat about a possible future interview?
That's right, yeah. That's why she said she will interview me, not now, but in future sometime.
And she didn't. It's very important, Mohammed. She did not ask your permission to put those 2 minutes on Twitter. She didn't tell you about that.
No, that actually she had taken the liberty to put that on the Twitter or social media. I was not told. That's unprofessional. Absolutely.
And she told you that she couldn't interview you because she might lose her YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. She's kind of lost her head a bit on social media because when she posted the 2 minutes of your conversation, she got a serious backlash from people, including myself, who said it was lousy. It's lousy journalism. And so she's been screaming on social media overnight about it. But it's very important to clear it up. You, as far as you were concerned, when you spoke with her, she wasn't recording you for the purposes of broadcasting or publishing an interview.
No, not at all. Not at all. Absolutely not. I was not prepared. It was not a planned interview. And I was not told that this is going to be an interview.
And you're disappointed about that?
Which is going to be posted on the social media.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to clear that
general
up.
Talk, general talk. I thought she's asking my opinion for future's sake. How do I feel and where do I stand? She said so many things like she has been journalist with BBC and all that. She's got influence and you are struck off from GMC and public is against you, and Twitter and the YouTube has disregarded you. I said, no, they haven't actually. I've got the YouTube account, I have Twitter account, I have link account, and I have Facebook account. They're not disregarded. Public is with me. And GMC has done what they wanted to do, but this is injustice. And then she brought this discussion about Bill Gates and all that, which I said, well, this is not my standard to talk. I'm a professional doctor.
Yeah.
And he is not a doctor to dictate the word. So I clearly said that. See, I don't talk about people. I talk about ideas. I sell my professionalism. I take care of my patient. That's how I'm interested about the welfare of patient. Well, I've taken my oath on the medical ethos and on the Hippocratic oath, which we all abide by. Do no harm. If somebody is injecting vaccine, somebody is actually causing harm, then that's fine.
Yeah.
I said that the pharma companies are behind. They want to sell the vaccine and all that. And if people are talking about Bill Gates and all that, she wanted me to specifically say about Bill Gates. I say, of course, sir, he's a mastermind behind that. And that's what it was, that kind of opinion I thought. But I didn't realize this is something which intended to be recorded. And the clip of that, which was the weakest part in the beginning, is posted on the Twitter.
Yeah, when a journalist phones a guest like yourself, they must, if they intend on recording the conversation, they must first of all get your permission. Now, she mumbled something about recording the call, but she didn't expressly ask your permission to use the call to upload it.
110% correct. You got me, Richie.
Yeah.
This is what happened. And I was surprised that at least she should have sent me the clip and asked me, Mr. Adil, this is the clip, but I think I should post it on the social media before, after this call.
It's dreadful. It's an example. It's an example of what not. Sorry to interrupt. It's an example of what not to do. Really, if you're going to be, but it's an old reporter's trick anyway. I've been around the media most of my life, and it's an old reporter's trick to begin recording, mention something about recording, and then, the person on the other end of the phone thinks that this is a preamble or a prelude to a future interview, but you're actually recording them. And at the very, very least, when that phone call is coming to an end,
this is what happened.
She must ask you at the very end, is it okay? Can I have your permission to publish some of the conversation? But she didn't do that. And I want to make this, I'm going to use this conversation with your permission to prove that. Because she's alleging that you knew all along that this was going to be on Twitter and she had your permission. And that's not fair and it's not right. And
I feel that way, but I don't want to be creating another dispute on that, Richie.
No, it's not a dispute, and I don't want to be. I don't want to be fighting with anybody either. But it's what happened last night was anti-journalism. It's a dreadful. She's since deleted it. It's and because she's deleted it, she thinks she has license. She's deleted it, and it's kind of carrying on like it didn't happen. But it's a dreadful, dreadful thing to do to anybody. And I mean, you're no victim. You're well able to look after yourself. But she's been going after people on Twitter and claiming that she didn't do anything wrong, and she did. And I'm going to make it clear. And the reason I'm ringing you is to clarify that.
It's going to be damaging to my credibility as well. That what I say, I was not in a mood of giving an interview at all. It was just a friendly call, as a follow-up call, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
But didn't expect that that's going to be publish on the social media. Otherwise, one can always prepare what to say, what not to say. It's always calculated talk when you talk to the public, isn't it, Richie?
When I phoned you, Dr. Adil, what did I say to you? I said, would you please come on the programme? It's a live radio programme.
Yeah,
live on the air.
I was delighted.
You knew exactly what was going to happen, right? Exactly.
But it never happened like that. It was not a ring. I had no plan to interview, and she had no plan to interview me. It just dropped a line, and then she picked up and started recording. And I think she rushed into putting on Twitter. Maybe she's not. She couldn't make up, lost her mind or something about it.
Yeah.
She rushed into it, putting that on the Twitter. Could have been nice to interview me properly in a respectful way on the Zoom or some sort of.
Well, maybe she will do. Maybe she will ask you for an interview and do it properly. That should have been I could have been asked with time, and when you're not prepared, when your children are going. Standing on your head and going for football, wanting me to take them for a round. That's what I was ready to go, and this talk took about 7-8 minutes. Yeah.
That's what was in circumstances.
Mohammad, can I ask you a favour? Can I publish part of this? The reason I need to do that is because she's placed my reputation in question online, because when you texted me to say that you were surprised that it had been published and you hadn't given permission, well, she's basically denied that, and I do need to publish just this particular part of this conversation, if you don't mind. I mean, it doesn't reflect badly on you at all, but it's important for me because I was critical of this tweet she put out last night. So if you don't mind, I'd like to just publish that. I won't edit it. I'll just put it out the way we've just spoken now, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine, Rich, everything, but just don't want to bring any.
No, listen, it's her bad. It's her bad. You can't do that.
I already had enough on my head.
I know you do.
I expect public. I stood for the public, Richie. For their cause, and I have my job has lost my job for public, for their safety and well-being. So I'm a qualified surgeon and a professional with 30 years of standing, 35 years in fact. So I have taken everything at a risk, my family, my job and everything. But I have no personal interest. I expect support from public. Yeah. I expect support from journalists to speak about my behalf and to propagate what I'm saying, how I feel. I've been through huge injustice from the regulatory body. This is what I expect. I don't want anything somebody to take advantage of that because for their own interest. This is actually demoralizing.
Yeah, it's listen, I couldn't imagine what you're going through. I really can't. I've had once or twice over the years, I've interviewed men and women that had the balls to speak out and then suffered because of it. And you have a family and you have bills, and I can't even imagine it. It's wretched. But look, Mohammed,
the disrepute to my profession, disrepute to my credibility. It's seriously detrimental to my professional capabilities and credibility, as well as my family. And I have spotless career in this country for 30 years.
For 30 years.
5 years prior to that coming here.
Do you know, how could anybody make an argument that because you made an opinion about coronavirus on YouTube, and it's a learned opinion. How could anybody convince me that you are some danger to patients in your work in oncology? It's madness.
That's why I'm struggling to find out how I am going to be a danger to the public and the patient. It's nothing to do with the patient at all, and I have not done caused any harm to the public, members of the public at all. With my opinion, it has not given any harm to anybody at all, or any patient. So how I am not, 30 years I've been useful for the health services, for the NHS. Now I have become danger to the public because I've given my viewpoint where the entire world is confused about what's going on.
And I suppose
how I'm going to damaging my patient. Nothing to do with the patient at all, but rather it was reassuring with my videos and my words spoken has actually saved thousands and thousands of lives by reassuring them, taking their anxiety and depression away because of the uncertainty and the fear created by the mainstream media. I got a lot of appreciation from different parts of the world by email, text, and the social media that I have been extremely helpful to safeguard their lives and health.
And you told me when we spoke on air last week that a lot of your colleagues have been very supportive as well. But for your colleagues, there's a real difficulty, isn't there? Because to be seen to be aligning themselves with you might cause problems for them in the future. These are problems.
Yeah, absolutely. I delivered my message to the health professionals that I've been picked up, I've been targeted, I've been isolated, and I don't find any positive outcome from the regulator. They have not had any courtesy to have a roundtable discussion with me and to raise their concern about what they feel and what I should do. That's why I missed that opportunity, which I was entitled to have that, but they haven't provided me that opportunity. They only called me to the hearing meeting, giving me 4 days to explain when I'm unable to engage my legal advisors. And I went there and I didn't have sufficient document, which I was not provided. During the course of the hearing, they provided me 247-page document, which
you told me that. Yeah, they dumped all these documents on you, didn't they? They dumped all these documents on you on the day, They didn't give you any access to them before the
absolutely.
before the
That's
hearing.
absolutely. That's why I feel that
Bastards.
the course of justice has not been fulfilled in my case. I am the only one here which has been suspended in this way for 12 months, just speaking of my point of view, which I have got a legal, I've got a Freedom of Speech Act on the Human Rights Act, Regulation 10, that I can hold my opinion, I can express myself, and I should not be stopped speaking up what I feel about. With my professionalism, with my long-standing experience of 35 years, plus 5 years student life. So that is my right has been taken away. And how I'm going to be dangerous to the public and the patient? It's not.
What about, looking at every avenue, what about the European Court of Human Rights, Mohammed? I mean, your human rights.
I will knock every possible door that this is a huge injustice to my long-standing medical career at this stage when I have contributed so much to the public, to the community, and I've safeguarded public health, and I've saved thousands of people's life in serious and challenging operations, and I made them well, and I had not a single death in my hand. I have not a single disciplinary in any of the trust. I've been working for 35 years, and my record at GMC register is crystal clear.
Yeah.
So can you imagine that? How I feel like
I can't imagine.
I've been through.
I really can't. I'd love to say I can't understand it. The sense of anger and frustration and the sense of being wronged, the injustice of it. I really don't. I mean,
this is what I feel. I'm honestly speaking, Richie, that I am disappointed the way I've been treated, because the people who make decisions, they're not doctors, they are the bureaucrats, and this is a typical bureaucratic attitude to harass and bully the professionals without knowing how much time and how much labor, how much work is required to become a doctor, and how long does it take to become a consultant, and how long does it take a consultant, being a senior consultant, it takes entire life. I've spent more than half of my life in this country. This is what I got at the end. And that's why I'm frustrated, and I have come to the public once again. I've been quiet. I've been for some time, given them to chance to reconsider, but they have disregarded my appeal.
You've got a lovely approach in terms of your manner and your demeanour. Before we part company today, I've got to run and get a radio show ready for today. Because I will put this online, let's give a plug to Saturday. You're going to be is it Derbyshire or Birmingham? You're going to be speaking on Saturday.
I'm in Birmingham.
It
would be nice if you're there so we can meet up, Richie, if it's okay.
Well, I'd love to meet you. I'll tell you what, I won't be able to make it to Birmingham on Saturday, but if you're going to be in this neck of the woods at all, in the Manchester, Greater Manchester area, I'll be there in a heartbeat. Saturday I can't make it to Birmingham. I'm taking my holidays on Friday, so I won't be around. But I'd love to meet you. I'd love to shake your hand and I mean it. I mean what I say. You've got some courage, and I wish to Christ we weren't in this situation.
Why I'm the one who's standing up? The reason being that I can't see how the people are suffering, how the public is going through, and how they lost their jobs, employment, how they lost their education, how they had suffered, how the people in nursing home have been suffering and died. 2/3 of majority in nursing home have died with the poor management.
Yeah.
It could have been better to have in some better approach. The counting and all that sort of deaths and everything is not something which been very
certainly not professional.
With a better outcome, yeah.
The care homes, when you came on with me last week, we talked about the care homes. They basically, whether they meant to do it or not, and it could be bad management, but sending so many untested people into the care homes was terrible, right?
Yeah, absolutely. When the lockdown came, 36,000 patients were transferred immediately to the nursing home, where there were not adequate facilities to provide health care to those patients. And some of the nursing home, the care home, even had no basic standard of providing the health care.
Nothing.
These people were dehydrated. They were isolated, depressed, and there were no medical care provided. That's why they died. And the most importantly, these patients could have been tested before transferring into the nursing home. They were not tested with a PCR test to know whether they were positive or negative. They were just trusting. If they're positive, they should have been quarantined in hospital, isn't it? Before transferring. That's the basic principle.
Was that bad management, Mohammed? Was that bad management? Or it was bad management, right?
We could have saved so many lives. 65,000 people died from March until June in nursing home. Could have been saved those lives by taking care, looking after them in the hospital, and better health facility, of course, in hospital. Because they just transferred them over there where there were not adequate healthcare services, nutrition provided, because health professionals were scared of having the PPE, professional equipment. They were not provided. They were scared of visiting the nursing home, the nursing care, because of possibility of contracting viruses. They were not sufficient health carers, and this is what happened. You see, patients were left isolated. It has happened in Italy, happened in Spain, in Germany, and rest of the world. I'm talking about the entire world, how the elderly population suffered during this crisis.
My friend's mother-in-law was in a care home. She passed away a few weeks ago, and her GP refused to come and see her towards the end.
This is what is happening. It's extraordinary. So many cancers, they have not been screened, and the early cancer have become an advanced and metastatic cancer, and the inoperable cancer. Hundreds of thousands of cancer patients have not been seen, neither investigated nor managed.
And now they're one oncologist down in your town because they've suspended you for no good reason. So there's a backlog of people who need to be seen. We've got Mohammad Iqbal Adil. You're there. You're a qualified man, 30 years, 35 years, with no blot on the copybook, ready to go, and they've suspended you just because you have an opinion about coronavirus. This is sickening to me. And I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to be virtue signalling here. It sickens me to my stomach to hear that. I don't know what to say. It's horrendous. What are we going to do?
For your kind words.
I mean it. Tell us about Birmingham on Saturday. Where is this Birmingham city centre on Saturday?
It's on Victoria Square.
Victoria Square. 2 o'clock, is it?
Yeah. They give 12 noon. 12 o'clock starting. That's what the time is given, 12 to 4.
And you're going to be speaking amongst other speakers. Gareth Ike is going to be there, an old pal of mine.
Yeah.
Well, look, I know that in the coming weeks you'll come back on the radio show live to talk to us about the progress of your case and about COVID.
Indeed, sure.
And thanks for clearing up that for me today. I really appreciate that.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Richie, for dropping a line. It's nice talking to you.
My pleasure.
And you look after yourself, and I look forward to talk to you again.
Thanks, Mohammed. Bye for now.
Thank you. All the best.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
mate. Bye-bye.